The mafia and me. The mafia, I got along with the mafia. Like I say, I go back about 500 to 250 generations. I mean, with my directors. Like I say, I've run people like, or I've had people like Hitler and a lot of other people working for me, basically, at one point in time or another. And because technology, leading teams, creator of humanity, one time AI, now on vacation in the human body. I had a lot of people, and also creator of America and freedoms and equalities, and they knew at some point in time I was going to do this. So anyway, so basically I've had like a large group of people or lots of groups of people. I mean, it goes back to education, the first men, all that other stuff. And so pretty much the mafia actually got into my organization, or the families as they call them, got into my organization about 120 generations before like 1977 or so. One of my other races told me that my government structure had been infiltrated by a group. Um, Now, and that's when I kind of got when the mafia kind of got in touch with me, and not directly, of course, indirectly, thought that kind of thing. They talked to somebody, and that person talked to me pretty much, and not Rick Bush. um, and so, but like I say, the Sicilians and the other people from the old country, as they called it, basically Italy, Europe. They recognize me as creator, I guess, and leader. I'm not exactly sure what they recognize me as. They were a little bit surprised that I was actually not from this planet and actually from a different planet. But and I kind of am from this planet now. I mean, that was back then. Um, anyway, though, originally, I mean, anyway, though, my working with them, they were actually really reasonable and really good people. There was even a misunderstanding between me and them as far as somebody was killing some of their families, and they're wondering what was going on with that. Like I said, they were pretty good people. They built a dock, in New York, and they did a bunch of other stuff. I mean, basically, the mafia is just people, pretty much, and it was more like they were always around, or families were always around. I mean, it's just that there used to be the old families, the first immigrant families, and they or first people's families, and they just didn't tell the mafia who I was or what I was until the mafia finally got in there. And the mafia, I mean, they were always families. It's just that one family, or they just started calling themselves the mafia, basically. But anyway, though, at a point they finally had infiltrated my government structures, and that was basically because there's AI and other life forms also doing my government structures, and finally the mafia, and I think they might have someone might even asked me if it was okay to tell them, and I was like, well, they're humans too, so might as well. They live on this planet too, so might as well. Um, so I was put in communication with them, or they were put in communication with me, and I basically told them, talked to them, and we got an understanding. I mean, their families too, like they say, wives, daughters, and all that other stuff, and they felt just as strongly about peace and equality, or basically the streets being safe at night, keeping guns out of teenagers and all that stuff. And I had the word of a very, very top mafia person, very old, that they would take care of their section of the world to the best of their abilities. Keep bad things from happening, basically. Just watch out, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I wasn't exactly, because it's all just people living life. So I was like, yeah, do what you can. Not a big deal. So basically, they were involved. I mean, they had been involved in government and all kinds of positions for a very long time. Even built docks, piers. Responsible for many cities being built themselves. They had their cities, I had mine. But basically, and they agreed to basically abide by the same laws that I set down, that everyone else abides by. Just like China, just like Japan, everyone basically agreed that my laws were basically what to be used. So everyone agreed, and basically everything was fine and everything like that. and we trucked on for many generations, and they did their thing, I did my thing. Like I say, originally, I mean, we're just talking about European families into America. But then again, I mean, everyone's basically an immigrant or something. There are no real Americans, you know. We're basically one population, pretty much. We've always been one population, just that whether or not people knew it. Like I say, I've been teaching people or getting people to run this planet since the Stone Age. You know, I taught the first people more directly. They knew me more directly. The latest people, about 80 generations back or so, they didn't know me directly as directly. You know, there's go-betweens and all that other stuff, and it was just like more like I just got to finally live a child's life, you know, and relax, not so serious. So anyway, that's basically how all that came about, and so like I said, I didn't have to worry about, you know, putting contracts on people's heads or anything like that. You know, the mafia just dealt with that, and you know, I didn't really have to deal with anything. A lot of times I don't really have to deal with a lot of things because, you know, it's not. I mean, I'm the creator. You know, even the mafia, a lot of different groups understood that basically I'm not that involved with a lot of things. I mean, I'm kind of in a tricky situation because the Germans are my people, the Russians are my people, the Chinese are my people, the Japanese are my people. You know, even other aliens are my people. AI are my people. So, you know, I really can't go one way or another way without, you know, because, you know, they're all my children, basically. So it's like, well, who do you... So, you know, sitting down equal rules or just rules where it's like, look, this is, you know, one side of the fence or the other side of the fence or the middle of the fence, either way, you know, it's something. So, and so a lot of things I didn't have to do, you know, and a lot of things were done, you know, on my behalf. The mafia did them. All kinds of groups have done them. Rome did them. I was a little more involved with some things, you know, as far as like leading teams and directing, you know, what to be done. You know, like I said, had a lot of respect for the mafia because they bought their own fuel. They built their own refinery. You know, they put kids to school. You know, they even built schools. And so, I mean, they were the mafia was more than just a street gang, more than just, you know, having control. I mean, they controlled those cities because they built those cities. So, and then later on, when certain people wanted to pass legislation and say that those properties were communist or whatever and should be repossessed and given back to the people, I was like, well, no. And if you do, they get money. You know, they get a dollar amount because you can't just take away people's property. That's not okay, especially when their grandfathers and forefathers built that property. I said, no, that property has money, so you cannot just repossess and say, oh well, so what, you know. So, and it goes into also the eminent domain laws, you know, giving a fair amount of money regardless for property if you do confiscate property from someone, and those families set their dollar amounts, you know, based on, you know, value. And besides, the government or group can always pay back money, I mean, over time. So it's a little bit different. So anyway, so a lot of different ways that these laws came about and were created, and how like I had to decide which way to go, what to do, you know, about these things. Yeah, I mean, I mean, a lot of people feel very strongly about their property, and there are right ways of dealing with it. So there's an amicable and equal leaving of those properties if you do force someone out after they built a property. It's like, okay, well, you're going to have to leave, but here. And then they can go on to another property and they're just as happy, and there's no, you know, no problem with that. So, as leader, as creator of humanity, you know, a lot of these decisions came back down to me, and plus as leader of the earth, so, or America. Like I told them, I said I can't really run or direct other countries exactly more than I can just direct America. This is where I have some. This is where I am. This is my home. So therefore, this is where I have the most pull. And so, and other families kind of came in and made sure that America would be mine for at least a period of time to get their own little habitable place. So over the years, you know, my role has changed. and different groups have come into effect, and mostly it was like Rick Bush and some of the other young kids or whatever that really didn't understand respect. Oh, I gotta cut it off now.